Okay, so we're going to do a bit of a tutorial to put on hand wraps. There's different ways of putting on hand wraps. I'm going to show you two of my favorite ways. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to loop it around the thumb. I'm going to go 3 times down my wrist. Once I've done 3, I'm going to go 2 up. So once again, it's going to secure the wrist, get a little bit of protection. I then go from underneath around the thumb, then make sure I go back around the wrist to secure my thumb so it doesn't peel off. The idea is to have it not too tight but not too loose. Once I've gone around my wrist, I'm now going to go around my fingers, my knuckles, sorry. But it's very important to keep your fingers open so they don't get pinched together. I will do this about 4 times. Once again, not too tight but definitely not too loose. Once I've done this, I'm going to go back down to the wrist like a letter X, coming back across, so that's going to secure this so it doesn't fold over when you're training. I'm going to bring this between my 2 fingers. Make sure you close your fist now, and the emphasis is over the 2 big knuckles. So make sure it goes over the 2 big knuckles, back down towards the wrist. Then I do another letter X to secure it, and then I go between the next 2 fingers. Now as I bring it to the side, once again emphasis is these 2 big knuckles. I'm going to close my fist and I'm going to drag it back across around the wrist to secure it, and it's going to go between the last 2 fingers. Close my fist, make sure it's not too tight, bring it back over those 2 big knuckles, and then back around the wrist. And depends how much you got left, it depends where you want to focus on. You can maybe even do one more time around the knuckles just to secure it, and then finish off moving your way down the wrist just to give yourself the added support. So at the end of the day, you want to support your wrist and you want to support your knuckles. The second option of how I like to do the wraps is what I learned in Thailand, is basically you want it to be roughly around about your knuckle width across, and fold it over about 4 times in total. Once I've done this, I'm going to make sure that I can pinch it between my little pinky so I can pull it across so it doesn't pull it over. From here, I'm going to open my finger up quickly, and I'm going to make sure I open my fingers just to secure it a couple of times so it gives me more emphasis on my knuckles, this one. From here, then I'm going to go back down my wrist, around my wrist a few times. Once again, we can go 3 down, 2 up. Good to go around the knuckles, the thumb as well. Make sure you secure that around the wrist. Then it's exactly like the same as the other one, but now since I've already had a bit of padding, I'm just going to start feeding between the fingers. Once again, exactly the same. Bring it over the 2 big knuckles. Make sure it's nice and flat. Back around the wrist to secure it. Letter X between the next 2 ones. Close your knuckles. Bring it back across the 2 big knuckles. Back down your wrist. Make the letter X. And we're going to go between the next 2 fingers. Once again, I'm not going out this way. I'm coming around back towards the 2 big knuckles. Then I'm going to feel where I need more support. My knuckles feel good now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm probably going to put a little bit more support. Maybe I could go all the way down to the bottom of the wrist, just so it keeps me wrist nice and straight when I'm punching, especially when I get tired. Technique is the key. And that's how you do some round hand wraps. Oos.